Hi guys, Mark Holmes here, and as always I want to thank you all for watching Joe Boo's Day Job. I'm here actually at Home Depot. I need to pick up a few things, but I want to revisit the lumber issue. Although there's other problems now, steel is getting to be kind of like lumber was before last year. But I want to revisit the lumber prices because we may end up being back in elevated lumber prices and or even raising lumber prices. I want to take a quick peek and see how we're doing right now, because we're hoping that this spring that we're going to be renovating the red brick house or possibly building another property. So as I look right now, we've got OSB still holding at about $17.35. There's been a slight uptick in some of the prices of lumber recently. Now, we remember that the lumber futures, which normally were around $300 to $500, a thousand board feet, shot up to almost $1,700. That, of course, ended up making it really, really expensive, of course, to buy stuff. It was a boom for the lumber mills because they were getting paid big time. Well, now that the prices went back down, they're back to reality and back to life, but some people really got paid. If you were trying to build a house, you were spending 3 times the amount of money on lumber. So as we look and see, our pressure-treated prime 2x4s are back up to $758. That's kind of high. Those used to be about $397. Our pressure-treated post, $29. Still not as bad as the $49 ones, but they've kind of come back up a bit too. They used to be about $15. 2x4s, $398, still manageable. They were more like about $279. So they have increased a bit for us. Now here's the thing to worry about, a couple of things. The futures actually shot up $50 yesterday. Yeah, $50. They're around $740, $750. I haven't checked them today, but definitely they're kind of creeping up. So we've got the lumber shortages, we've got the container issues, and we've got inflation that's happening around us. And to make it worse, here's where it's really going to be questionable of what happens for us in the future. Unfortunately, the duty on Canadian imports of lumber is going to double. That's right, it's going to double. And I know most people don't think about lumber coming from Canada, but when you start thinking about our Baltic birch, that all comes from Canada. So a lot of the plywoods and things are actually made there. So let's check and see what the plywood prices look like right now. Right now they have come back down some, but they're still a bit high. They could stay there at high, or they could even shoot up. I mean, guys. Okay, that's the side, but still, $46 a sheet. That's really, really high. For me, oak plywood used to be about $48, still $66. Better than the $100 a sheet it was. And here's where we have the sandy plywood. Sandy is a cheaper version. It's kind of a rough cut. You can use it for cabinets. It's not really very good. But $69, that's high. I don't see a price on the birch plywood half inch. But you can see our quarter inch hardwood panels of 31. They used to be about 24. So that's kind of where we are with the lumber prices. Let's hope that we have greener passages. Oh, and one other thing too about Canada. One other problem we have in Canada is because the winters have been mild, there's a beetle that eats a lot of the lumber, and it's not dying in the wintertime. Along with the dry weather means more forest fires, making the lumber more scarce. The one thing that happens a lot of times is when things become more difficult to get or more expensive, they come up with other solutions that end up being more cost effective. To give you an example, if you look at some of the old houses that I have, before there was plywood, what they would do is they would use one-by material, oak, antique heart pine, whatever, for the sheathing. Well, that got to be real high. And that's when they came up with, of course, your 3-ply plywood, which is basically taking a log and spinning it and cutting off the veneers. This is plywood. Well, plywood got to be kind of expensive, and then they moved on and they came up, of course, with OSB, which is basically chips. And the thing about this is you get a bigger yield from the wood because you're using up more of the product to make this. The other nice thing about it is it's actually more stable than regular plywood. Now, of course, you know, some people don't like to, of course, use OSB, but OSB is a good product. So hopefully, with lumber becoming a scarce commodity, a more expensive commodity, technology will help bring us out of the problems for home building. Because as much as we want to build houses, if the lumber goes back up to the prices that it was before, nobody's going to be able to afford it. And it ends up being that all of a sudden, because those prices are so high, nobody's buying, and then they crash. And that's not good for anybody. We've got to find a happy medium in between there. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I'm going to keep an eye here on the prices of lumber because it truly affects my bottom line. I'll see you guys soon.